Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Karabo Kekana Nkuna, better known as K Pro. Yeah, the rapper. Yeah. I prefer you guys to call me K Pro as well. In this video, I will be teaching you guys how to answer comprehension questions of English Home Language Paper 1, and I'll be using a November paper as reference, a 2019 paper. Note, I will not be answering any questions here because in most cases, tutors will answer questions even though you don't understand where they got the answers from. So I'll only be giving you guys the mechanisms that you guys are going to use to get a total for this portion. 30 marks, most of you guys must get 28 to 30 because this is the easiest section of the paper. Right? So get your pen, get your paper, sit steady, and let's get the show going. Yeah. All right, guys. Now, let's pretend that you are in an exam session and the teachers are pasting those barcodes or whatever, or they are doing their admin work, and you are left with maybe like 20 minutes before the exam starts, right? So, the first thing you have to do is just breathe in, breathe out, be steady and relax. Before I continue, please make sure that you have a pen, a paper, or a pen and a book, and you're sitting steadily when you're watching this video because I want to make sure that everyone understand what is happening here. So, as I was saying, you are in an exam session 20 minutes before the paper. Breathe in, breathe out. Don't think about the paper too much, all right? All right, so now the teachers decide that they're going to give you guys the papers, right? For you guys to verify if you have the same question paper and what so forth. Right? You guys verify and all that. Now, the most important part now. 10 minutes reading time, right? 10 minutes reading time. They're going to tell you that they're going to give you 10 minutes reading time to go through the paper, right? Now, when they give you this 10 minutes reading time, now, this is what is important now. Where now you do not read the whole question paper, you are wasting time and you're going to regret it. A lot of, or let me just say, common mistakes that people do in English is that they do not finish the paper. That's why they fail to get full marks, right? Second mistake that most people do is that they overthink the comprehension. That's why they fail to get full marks. So this is what's happening now. You are going to be given 10 minutes reading time, right? Don't even bother doing whatever. First things first that you do, you come to your comprehension. With that 10 minutes reading time, you take at least 4 minutes, even 3 minutes is enough, reading these questions. Remember, guys, let me just say this. The number one rule is that when you're doing a comprehension, you do not read the comprehension first. You go and read the questions. Even if you don't understand what the question is saying, just read that question. Read it. Don't understand the question, just read it. So you come here, you read these questions, all of them, right? Read these questions. You haven't read the text, remember. Just read these questions with that 4 minutes out of that 10 minutes. Now, after reading the questions, what you're going to do now is that you're going to say, with the remaining 6 minutes that they gave you, you read the comprehension. Now, 6 minutes is more than enough to read this comprehension. You know why? Because we are not reading for understanding, right? We're going to read this comprehension. What can I say? We're just scanning through this comprehension. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're just going to read, not to understand what is going on, but just to have a storyline, like the main idea of the whole text and what is going on, like not really to be deeply involved within the text, you understand? So you're just gonna scan it, like researchers found this, you read. By the time they say the 10 minutes for reading time is up, you guys should start writing. You already have an idea of what the comprehension is about. You already have an idea of what type of questions they are asking there and the intensity of those questions. My bad. So after you've done all these steps that I told you, now they're going to say it's time to start writing. Now you are at an advantage, believe me, you are at an advantage if now you've already read this using your 10 minutes reading time. Now, because what you're going to do now is that now you're going to go and read the questions again. You do the same process all over again now. Now that you're writing, you're going to read these questions, but now this time you're going to read them with understanding, right? You are going to read these questions with understanding, right? Cool. Now that you are reading them with understanding, when you're done reading these questions with understanding, you're going to go back to the text and start reading the text with understanding. Guys, I'm going to need you guys to be patient with me, because if you really want to get a total in this, you're going to listen to the whole full video and actually see what is happening here, right? You're going to read everything here, né? Sharp. Now, let's say now you are done reading this now, and now you have to start answering the questions. Remember, you are at an advantage. Né? You are at an advantage. What is the advantage? The advantage is now you already read, you've already scanned and read the questions before you even started writing the paper. Right. So now I'm going to teach you guys mechanisms that you guys are going to use to answer these questions. Né? English is very easy. Okay, guys. In English, we have 3 types of questions. Né? We have 3 types of questions. Right? Don't let them lie to you. There is no level 1, level 2, level 3. Nonsense. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Don't listen to that. Any teacher who tells you that is a teacher who is teaching you based on a certain textbook or whatever. Listen to me. There's nothing such as that. There's nothing such as that. Now, listen to me now. There's 3 types of questions. Yeah? Yeah. 3 types of questions. The first type of question is the one that you are used to, right? Which is your primary school, where you just referring to the text. They ask you, how old is George? 12 years old. Like you just basically taking the information from the text and just putting it in your answers, right? That's the first type of a question. So I will not touch on that type of a question. Why? Because it's very much easy. You guys know that. Now, however, there's 2 types of questions that you guys were not taught very well, which is why you're watching this video, right? We have what we call a technical question. So I'm going to first teach you guys about technical questions in a comprehension. Then I'm going to teach you about your own understanding type of questions. I call them your own understanding, but they probably have their own word or whatsoever. Remember, guys, you don't have to play by the rules in order to get an English distinction, right? Do what works for you, right? So now we have technical cues. So I'm just going to write it this way just to save time. I hope you have a pen and paper right there. Right, now let's get working, guys. Let me just scroll it up. I'm sorry. I'm going to use something like maybe red, something like that. Just leave it like that, and then yeah, let's go down. So I hope you have a pen and paper. Right. Now, guys, what are technical questions? Very easy, guys. The word technical tells you that it's just something that is related to... Okay, let's leave the word technical out of this. Technical questions are questions that are asked based on the structure. Please write that down. These are questions asked based on the structure of the text, right? So yeah, they're not asking you to refer or to talk about what is happening in the text. No. Now here we are analyzing the structure of the text, right? We are analyzing the structure of the text. Now, let's talk about the structure of a normal text, right? So let's just say you're writing, an essay or whatever. We know very well that your essay or your text will have T. What does T stand for? A title, right? We know that it's going to have a conclusion, right? It's going to have an introduction, right? It's going to have imagery. Sometimes some have imagery. It's going to have punctuation. Right. What else did I leave out? Let me just say rhetorical questions. Okay, guys, please write this down, right? T stands for, we know, really. Every text has a title, it has a conclusion, it has a rhetorical question, it has a punctuation, it has an introduction, all those things, ne? Okay, sharp, guys. Now, this is the key now of answering those questions. Ne? I hope everyone will be able to understand what is happening after I finish teaching this section. So let me draw a line. Now that I've showed you what parts of a structure of a text are. Right, I'm sorry about that. All right. Now, the question is, how do you answer this? Guys, this is the simplest type of question that you'll ever find in English, guys. The answers to these questions are always similar, and you can cram them or remember them. Now, listen to me. They might ask you, for example, um, they will say account for the writer's usage of the title, or account for why the writer was using that particular title. Have you seen that question before? I believe so. Where you have to account why a certain title was used, right? Now let me show you something. T, title. Every time they ask you to comment about why the title has been used, just know that it's a technical question. Listen to me. If they ever ask you anything related to the title, to the conclusion, to the introduction, to the punctuation, rhetorical question, to the imagery, just know that it's related to the structure. And what does the structure relate to? It's a technical question. Anything they ask about the structure of how something has been written, it's a technical question. We are looking for the technicalities of the text, right? How it was written. Right now, if they ask you to comment on the title, right, we have to know why people use titles in an essay or in a text. It's very easy. The first thing is to what? Is to capture the attention of the reader. There's always two reasons for this. So the first reason will be to capture the attention of the reader. So let me just do this just to save time. The first one will be to capture attention of the reader. Attention. Right? The second reason why a title will be included is to what can I say? Is to evoke the emotions of a reader. So I'm just gonna use evoke. Yeah. Guys, there are a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons. At the end of this video, I'm going to attach paperwork which tells you the answers that you can use for a title, the answers that you can use for rhetorical question. If they ask you about rhetorical, I'm going to attach all those. But for now, I just have to explain this to you so that you can actually understand how this works and how you can use this mechanism to answer questions. I know some of you already have an idea of how you guys can answer this because I've just enlightened you on something that you're not used to. Right? When you see a title, we can use it to evoke, and because if I can say, right, let me write an essay right now and say apartheid, right? What's going to happen there is that already by saying that title is already evoking an emotion in you as the reader, right? And then the attention part, think about it. If I say the title of my book or whatever is apartheid, it's capturing your attention. Why? Because it's a text that is separated from the original text, right? So these are the two answers. So if they ever ask you about why the title has been used, do not bother saying, this title relates to the text. No. You are completely wrong. The title is always used to capture the attention of the reader and evoke an emotion, right? And if you're talking about an emotion, you must specify that emotion according to the mood of the text or the mood of the title, okay? If maybe the text is talking about killings, you always say it is used to evoke a sad emotion. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. Let's talk about the conclusion. Guys, okay. The conclusion, it's almost the same as the title, but now the conclusion, it is used. First of all, you know that a conclusion summarizes all the ideas. It summarizes all the ideas of the text. That's the first thing that you should say. Now, it summarizes all the ideas of the text, right? The second part is that a conclusion can also be used to evoke an emotion, right? And a conclusion can also be used to manipulate the reader. Right, I hope you guys are writing down. I'm not going to write these in full because I said that you guys should have a pen and paper so that you can listen to me and write whatever is happening. So it's going to manipulate. Okay? It's going to manipulate. I'm sorry. It's going to manipulate. Alright? That's the conclusion. Okay, guys. I hope you wrote this down because I want to erase now. I want to erase. So that I can move on to others. Okay, let's talk about what's this one now? I'm gonna skip these. I want to go to one of the most important ones, punctuation. Most of you guys were given a worksheets or some kind of information sheets regarding punctuations in grade 10 and grade 11, right? So, guys, punctuations, they might ask you account for the inclusion of a comma, account why a full stop has been used, why was the quotation marks, whatever. All those do you understand what I'm saying? Any question that they ask about the punctuation is a technical question. Why? Because punctuations are technicalities of the text, right? So, if they ask you about the punctuation now, I'm going to attach a document which tells you everything about what each punctuation mark does, okay? On the description. Make sure that you do subscribe, by the way. Now this is what's happening. You're going to read. You'll have to read, you know. If they say account for a full stop, for example, where if you read your notes well, you'll know that a full stop is used to end a sentence. A full stop is used to do this and this. Maybe they might say account for a comma, right? Account for the usage of a comma. It's a technical question. What does a comma do in that particular sentence or whatever? A comma maybe might be used to list things, all those things, etc. Right? So if they ask you about the punctuation, you just have to give what can I say? You just have to give the usage of that punctuation in that context, right? So what is advisable is that you should go through your punctuation information sheet and find out what does a comma do, what does a semicolon do, what does a full stop do, okay? And then know where when you see a text that is related to this, you can say, okay, this comma was used to do this and this and this. Then you will definitely get those full 3 marks if they ask you about this chapter. And remember something, right? These technical questions are also found in your paper 2, poetry, okay? These are also found in the poetry, and they're also found in a book called Life of Pi, right? Because if you're doing the contextuals, they might ask you to comment on the effectiveness of a certain word or certain paragraph. So these are very important, guys, okay? These are very important. This is a structure of the text. Now let's look at the rhetorical question. Guys, the rhetorical question is very easy. The rhetorical question, it's very easy. This one is just used to keep the reader engaged, right? To keep the reader engaged. This is used for engagement. Ne? You are keeping the reader engaged when you use a rhetorical question, right? You are also capturing the attention of the reader, right? Because a rhetorical question is a question that does not have an answer. So when you're reading there, it will capture your attention, right? So it also captures somebody's attention, whoever is reading that. So a rhetorical question is very much easy. Now there's these 2 I's, the introduction, guys. Okay, the introduction is also very easy. Introduction, guys, you know very well that the introduction is just something that is also supposed to impress the reader. Let me just say it's something that is supposed to impress the reader, because the introduction has to be very much solid, right? It's there to impress the reader. Impress. Guys, I told you guys to write these down because I can't write everything down, but I do have notes on the description that you guys could download that explain these, right? What else do they do? The introduction, guys, it also captures the attention of the reader. Yeah. Or it influences the reader. It influences the reader. Why do I say it influences the reader? Because if my introduction about apartheid focuses mainly on the negative side of apartheid, you will be influenced about the whole idea of the text, which means this thing was bad and stuff. So it's used to influence the reader, okay? Right? It can also be used to capture the attention of the reader, or there's a lot of answers to this, but it impresses the reader, because sometimes people do introductions that are very much rich in English diction and stuff. And sometimes it is used to influence the reader or manipulate the reader, okay, into believing a certain topic. You understand? Depending on what type of a text it is, right? I hope you guys are writing down everything I'm saying. Now, guys, imagery. Imagery, we are talking about irony. We are talking about satire. Okay, the imagery part, I will not talk about it. Why? Because this is mostly found in your cartoons. Yeah? This is mostly found in your cartoons, and in your question one, they don't usually ask you about the imagery. You're going to find it later on in your cartoon question. So if you guys want me to explain the cartoon questions and everything like that, I'm gonna do it on a separate video. But however, because examiners are very, very silly, they might ask you, why does um why did the writer use a figurative language here and there? Guys, figurative language or imagery, it's just used to keep the reader engaged. Ne? It's for engagement, right? It's for engagement. It's used to keep the reader engaged. So when you see something like that, you're like, oh wow, okay. So you get more engaged to the text, okay? Get more engaged. So it's just used for engagement. Also, capturing the attention of the reader. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. But I don't want to touch a lot on that. The most important thing for you guys was to know is this. This is the structure. Guys, you can cram this, you can remember this, and believe me, once you know all these and understand, I'm telling you guys are gonna get totals for this. Now let me show you something. There is always a technical question, one or two in the comprehension. Now let me show you. I'm not gonna answer it, but I'm gonna show you. Yeah, right. Suggest reasons for the writer's inclusion of the aside. You heard me. This is a technical question. This is a technical question. Okay? This is an example of a technical question. Next, comment on the irony implicit in paragraph 6. This is a technical question, right? This is a technical question. Why? Can you see that there is irony there? So we are going to comment on why the irony has been used, right? We're going to tell them, why did this reader use the irony according to the text? And I already told you, irony is a form of imagery, and what is imagery used to do? To keep the reader engaged and all those kind of things. So can you see how easy this thing is? So the next thing that I'm going to teach you guys is these words. Most people are failing comprehensions because they don't understand what they mean when they say comment. But you're always commenting on our Facebook page, posts and everything. But when they say comment on a paper, you don't know how to comment. You are always discussing somebody's daughter at school. But when you have to discuss the importance of variable intelligence, you don't know how to discuss it. Always saying you explain why you always said, and you explain very well, but when you have to explain why a human being could be viewed as deficient, you don't know how to explain it. Okay, but nonetheless, it's not a problem. Let's hop into the second part of this tutorial. I believe everyone captured the notes here, so let's go to the second type of a question that I want you guys to learn. And after this, you guys are going to be so perfect when it comes to comprehension. All right. Let's use a different color. Now, guys, the second type of question is let me call it based on your okay, guys, this type of a question, I call it bore you. Yeah. Bore you is based on your understanding question type. All right. So now this question is usually going to be asked in reference to the text and in reference to your understanding. So it's not like the first type of a question where by now you are just exactly copying and pasting from the text. No. You understand what is happening in the text and also put it in your own words. So this is based on your understanding. And a lot of people are actually failing this. Yeah? So what you usually find here, you're going to find these kind of words. The first one that I'm going to talk about is critically. Yeah? Critically. Okay, guys, my fellow descendants. Critically, the word critic means criticize, guys. Okay, once you see a question in English that says critically, let's go to our question paper. I saw one here. Critically discuss, right? This is what girls usually do at school. They critically discuss a boy during break. Guys, critically discussing just means that criticizing, you are being a critic. Do you know how to be a critic? So yeah, you are basically gonna give the good and you're going to give the bad, right? And then after, you are going to give your own point of view. Your own point of view, right? So critically, once they say critically discuss, critically talk, critical do whatever, they basically just saying to you now, criticize whatever they're telling you. Criticize, and when you're criticizing, you're always gonna give the good and the bad, and that will be your 2 marks. After doing that, you're going to give your own view, right? You're going to tell us your own view about all that, right? So yes, so that's for the critically part. It's always there. You'll always find it when they say critically. Can say critically comment, critically discuss. It does not matter, guys. Critically commenting or critically discussing, you are criticizing, good or bad. You must highlight something that is good, something that is bad, then give your own point of view, right? Now there's a problem that most people face. I am going to attach another worksheet which tells you what each and every question word, I don't know what they call them, action words mean here, right? But now I'm just elaborating on the most important ones that you'll usually find. Ne? They will say to you, you must comment. They will say to you, you must comment. Guys, sometimes they say critically comment. Sometimes they just say comment. Once they say critical comment, you are giving the good and bad in your own point of view. But when they say comment now, they are just saying, give us your point of view, guys. It's so easy. Give us your point of view, right? If they say it's 3 marks, which means you can just give us at least 2 sentences that make sense and are related to the text. Ne? That's what I'm saying. This is based on your understanding. It's not a technical question. They don't want to know about the structure or whatever. They want to see if you understand the text. So they'll just say, comment on, just comment why these machines are taking over. Then you can just give your reasons there. The machines are more effective. The machines are less problematic. They are very work efficient. You are commenting, you are giving your own point of view, right? It's like a celebrity posts something on Facebook and you comment, I like your music. That's the same thing. But now you are commenting in regards to the text and in a very mature way. Okay. So it's very easy, guys. The word comment should not throw you off. It's very much easy. Okay. Because it's always there, guys. Remember, this one will always be there and this one will always be there. They are always there. Ne? Comment. Another word that I see frequently is explain and discuss. Guys, come on. Let's talk about discuss. Girls do this one almost every. Okay, not even girls, even boys do it. Okay, let's discuss each other. Sorry about that. Discuss. Discuss. Okay, guys, when we are discussing now, a discursive thing, discuss and critically, they are almost the same. That's what they don't tell you at school now. When you are discussing, there's what we call a discursive essay, where you give an argument on both sides of the story, if I can put it in that way. So let's just say they say write a discursive essay about apartheid, right? You obviously say the good, the bad, and then you give your final version, right? This is the same thing that applies with this on your comprehension. Eh? So what will happen is if they say discuss why the robots are more effective than humans, you'd obviously first thing you'll have to say the good about these robots, because we are discussing. And when we are discussing something, we don't only focus on the good of it or the bad of it, but we focus on both sides. So you're going to give the good about it, you give the bad about it, and you give your own point of view. Right there. That's what I'm saying. Critically, and this, it's more or less the same thing, right? Sometimes they would even say critically discuss, guys. Once they say critically discuss, it means now they're telling you now, like, criticize it, give the good and bad. They are giving it to you like that. But it's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. Ne? When you're discussing something, we do not focus on one point of view, but we focus on both sides, and then we look and then, like, okay, now this is like this, this is like this, this is like this. So what you can actually do here is, this question just requires you to be more analytic. analyze the text and see, oh, these machines are like this and like this because of this. On the other hand, these machines are doing bad on the economy and stuff. I mean, just give that your own. This is very easy. Just discussing, right? I hope everyone understands what is happening there. Okay, let me look for the last one that people do not know. I think implication. Is it implication? Explain. Guys, to explain, everyone knows how to explain. I will not talk about that. Implications is not an. This is okay. This usually is usually there. Okay, let me talk about it. Guys, the word implications. The word implication comes from imply. Ne? Imply, right? So if they say discuss the implications or whatever, what they're basically saying is that tell us what does that text imply. If they say discuss the implications of the machines on the economy or of the fourth industrial revolution, they are basically asking you, tell us what does the fourth what is the fourth industrial revolution implying, right? So what you have to understand is just what does this word mean. For example, looking say someone said somebody is dumb, right? And then they're gonna ask you, discuss the implications of saying someone is dumb. So discuss what does a person mean when if they're saying someone is dumb, right? What are they implying, right? So implications should not throw you off because it's taken from this word that says imply, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you basically now just telling us you are discussing. Remember, all these words can link to each other. It could be critically comment, critically discuss, critically imply, but they'll always say critically comment on the implications or critically discuss the implications. What this thing is implying, guys. What does it imply? If I say you are dumb, what am I implying? If I say you lack melanin, what am I implying? Right? You discuss those things. One thing about English is that it's a very broad subject, you understand? They are not very strict when they are marking the comprehension because on the memo they are told that they can mark anything that makes sense, especially on questions that include comment and questions that include discuss. But once they say critically, that's where the problem is because most learners don't know that critically means criticize, which means the good and the bad. Right. This is it. Okay, guys. I've already touched on how to answer these questions. Now, the first three questions in English are usually going to be the normal easy questions where you just have to refer to the text and answer, refer to the text and answer. And with everything I've taught you everything related to the 3 mark questions. All right. And everything I've taught you also applies on questions on the text B and questions on text A and B. However, I'm going to make a different tutorial for the cartoon, right? Not this cartoon in particular, but a cartoon as a whole, so that you can understand how a cartoon works, and an advertisement as well, and the summary as well, just the whole English paper as well, differently. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sci Masters. We also have a Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook as Sci Masters _ZA. We also have a WhatsApp group. So those of you that are actually struggling with your English, you guys can just click the link in bio and join our WhatsApp group. All right. On that WhatsApp group, what we will be doing is that each and every weekend we are always planning to go to different locations and help a group of learners. So if you feel like you and your friends have a problem in regards to English or whatsoever and you need one-on-one lessons, gather at least 30 of your friends and we will be there to assist. And we will be having cross nights before prelims and cross nights for the final examination in every location around Gauteng. So it will be wise for you to actually add us on Facebook. Like our page on Facebook. Follow us here on YouTube for more tutorials, and join our WhatsApp group. There's WhatsApp group for English. There's a WhatsApp group for physics. There's a WhatsApp group for maths and life science. Please do join, and we will be discussing things every day on a regular basis. Thank you very much from me, your boy.